Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of our program, our series, Cast the Stars. Cast the Stars, as you know, is that program where we profile leading women in Zambia, women that have done so much for other women, women that have paved the way and made way for other women to join, to come into leadership, women that have gone ahead to break every barrier, to break the glass ceiling, and they still are making way. Today, we are privileged to have a woman that, are we live? Today, we are privileged to have a woman that has been and is still doing work for over 50 years. She's been working for the cause of women. And today we profile one of our own foremost women, particularly in the fight for women's rights, Mrs. Sara Longwe. So please welcome with us as we welcome Sara Longwe on Cast the Stars tonight. Good evening. I don't know if you can hear us. Welcome back, ma. Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight on Cast the Stars.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for joining us, ma.
You are breaking.
Oh, can you hear us?
Yeah.
How is it sounding?
You are breaking, so I can't hear.
Sorry about that. Can you hear us better now? Sorry for the internet. I'm sure it's the internet. Can you hear us? We can hear you so clearly. And we are so honored and privileged to have you on Cast the Stars tonight.
You are breaking.
Oh, sad.
My internet might be not so good because you are breaking.
Maybe we should ask you, can you maybe reconnect?
Not clearly.
Can you probably reconnect and just connect again? Maybe you can log out and connect again. Will that be good?
Okay.
Thank you so much. While we wait for her to log back in, I would like to tell you a bit about her. I'll read for you some of the wonderful things she has done. This is Sara Longwe. Sara Longwe is a feminist activist. She's based in Lusaka, Zambia, and has developed, I have been very privileged to have worked in the women's spaces, and in being in those spaces, one has been privileged to learn a lot about gender. And in my learning about gender, one name I never knew was Zambian until I was very, very pleasantly surprised was Sara Longwe. Her framework, her gender framework, is probably the only Black woman and African framework used in the gender space in analyzing gender and bringing gender to the fore. And Zambia is privileged to have this daughter of Zambia as a leading woman in the gender space. I'll tell you about her reading from her beautiful bio. So she's a Zambian-based feminine activist. She's a feminist activist based in Lusaka, Zambia. She has developed a method of analyzing gender issues, popularly known as the Longwe Women Empowerment Framework. Her framework is used worldwide. Her framework has been adopted by all the organizations to be used for gender issues in the global feminist and gender literature. So she's so renowned. Sarah has used this framework in her numerous consultancies undertaken with African governments under gender departments, development agencies, and civil society organizations on how to identify and address gender issues for sustainable women empowerment. So she has been here for over 50 years. Let's hear some more. She has been involved in the struggle for gender justice for many years, and many years is half a century. She vigorously began her activism in the 70s. So she started in the 70s, when as a young secondary school teacher, the government refused to give her maternity leave. Despite Zambia's ratification of the ILO Labor Convention that required that schools to provide 90 days paid maternity leave. This led Sara to become a prime mover in a lobbying group and successfully pressed government to introduce, in the mid-70s, a provision for paid maternity leave at workplaces at national level. So for those of us women enjoying paid maternity leave, this was one of the people that fought for Zambian women to have their leave, and not just to have leave, for paid maternity leave. And after that, in 1984, as a founding member of the Zambia Association for Research and Development, ZARD, she played a vital role in pushing the government in 1985 into ratifying the 1979 UN Convention for the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. This is one of the most significant legislations and policies that guarantees women empowerment, women participation, and removing discrimination. So today in the world, when anybody, you haven't subscribed to CEDAW, they feel you're backward when it comes to women and women development. And she was one of those in 1985 that ensured that Zambia ratified the CEDAW Convention. And the enactment in 1989, statutory laws of inheritance. If you remember, we talked to Mrs. Musukwa, Gladys Musukwa, who told us about this and how she was leading in that. And this is a colleague and contemporary in 1989. And so our inheritance laws were totally ratified and changed by this group of people. Also in 1986, she was one of the founder members of the Zambia non-governmental organization, NGOCC Coordinating Council. This was an offshoot of the UN Decade of Women 1996. 1976, NGOCC is the focal point of Zambian women movement for advocacy and implementation of gender policies and human rights instruments, national, regional, and international. Sara co-founded many other civil society organizations and networks in her quest to improving women empowerment at regional and international level. These include the Africa Women's Development and Communication Network, FEMNET, so popular, founded in 1988, which plays a role in coordination of African women's caucuses with other networks at regional, global conferences and meetings, e.g. the African Union Summit of Heads of State, UN sessions for the Commission of, that's the CSW, Commission of Status of Women, African World Social Forum, Women and Law in Africa, WLSA, and the Women in Law and Development in Africa, which are both founded in 1989 to focus on women human rights. SADC Gender Protocol Alliance, some of the successful forms this collective work with African women movement include the coordination of African women during the Dakar Beijing platform, if you remember, Beijing 1995, 1994 and 95, and follow-up processes. The African Union 2003 Women's Protocol to the African Charter on Human Rights, People Rights in 2004, Solemn Declaration for Gender Equality in Africa in 2008, Gender Protocol for Southern Africa Development Communities, and more. So Sara Longwe is one of our foremost women rights leaders, and we're privileged to have her today. Do we have her back? Not yet. So we're holding on and we're hoping that she will connect back. But while we wait, we would like to really appreciate all the women that have come on our processes and our programs. We don't want to miss our discussion with Sara, so we're waiting and we're hoping that she'll connect. But if you look at all we have done this month, as we come to the end of our 31 days, 31 profiles of 31 leading women. As we come to it, today is our number 28, I believe. And in number 28, I believe that, thank you very much. Okay, so our producer is saying we should go on a break so that we can try and get her back. So we'll come back. For those on CBC television, we'll just take a short break. We'll be right back. For those on YouTube and on Facebook, please join us. You will get the link. If you're subscribed, please subscribe now so that you get the notification immediately we're back. We just want to get back to Sara and help. Yeah, I think the internet on that side is not as good, and it is. So let's try and see if we can help her get back on. And please stay with us. We'll take a break and we'll be right back on Scars to Stars with Sara Longwe, one of the foremost leading women in the fight for women's rights in Zambia and in the world and Africa in general. Thank you for joining us on Scars to Stars today. Don't go away. We'll take a short break, but we'll be right back.